All right. Um, I guess we'll talk a little bit about this Minnesota situation. I was gonna get back on a reading. We will probably start back up Monday and finish it on Tuesday. I have a long weekend, so I probably just knock it out Monday and Tuesday. Um, but yeah, I was gonna do that today, but then my freaking had a plumbing issue and I had to go work on a clog. So, that's being a man. So, having a home, you got to do things. It's part of it. You have responsibilities. I have the right to do all kinds of shit on my own property, but I have a lot of responsibilities. So I want to start there. A lot of people have been talking about ICE's activities in Minneapolis and in the shootings of Preddy and Renee Good. And I think I've made it abundantly obvious that I find these deaths um, tragic, and it's terrible for the families, not only of those that died, but of the officers as well that were involved. Um, some of these officers may lose their jobs, and some might go to prison over this. I don't know, but I don't really have a feeling. I don't have like a really like concrete thought idea of whether I think they should go to prison or not. I wasn't there in the middle of that, and I don't know what it's like to try to react out of that, but I think it could have been handled better. And I had posted on X a while back that I started shooting a gun when I was like 4 years old, probably before that if you count like BB guns and stuff like that. But my first memories of shooting with my uncle, I was four. One of the first things I was taught was the responsibility that a person wielding a firearm has to those around him. Not to point the gun at anybody, make sure the safety's on, make sure that you're aware of your surroundings, who's around you, uh, be aware of your target, what's in front of your target, what's behind your target, all these things. Mm. I do not feel that and to avoid conflict, to not go looking for trouble. I do not feel that either Preddy or the ICE officers were looking to avoid conflict in the situation. I believe both sides were acting extremely emotionally, and we must be able to trust that law enforcement has more more self-control than what I feel like I saw. That doesn't mean I blame the officers for the circumstances and the situation. Things get chaotic. If you put somebody, I remember going through drills. I never saw active battle, but going through drills and the chaos that's occurring as the entire platoon that you're in is yelling back and forth directions, who's where, what's going on. There are grenades going off. There's gunfire. You're looking for movement because you don't want to just fire into and waste your ammunition on nothing, you know. So you want movement or a direction, some semblance of where your target is, so that you can lay down fire, and whether it's suppressive fire or actually active fire. Um, and it's chaos. There's noise and it's disorienting. And I imagine the situation in Minneapolis for many of these officers. And if you're losing your cool in a situation like that, it's going to lead to a lot more bad circumstances. Now, I'll be honest, considering what the ICE officers are dealing with, in Minneapolis and what their stated objective has been up to date. I know Tom Homan has made a statement and things are supposed to change. We'll see as news comes out of Minneapolis how things do change. Um, with the stated objective they had, with the chaos that was going on around them, the whistles, the horn honking, people screaming at them, spitting at them, getting in their way, obstructing them. That's a lot of chaos. And then you add on top of it the threat, the possible threat of someone having a firearm. I believe it has been CBS has reported that the firearm did not negligently discharge. We'll still have to wait and see what the actual reports come out from the investigation of the FBI says, whether the firearm did or not. It won't be difficult to figure out if the firearm discharged at that time. So, you know, and then somebody's yelling gun. This guy has his phone in his hand and he's holding it kind of like this weird angle. And, officers, already, on edge because of the situation and the environment that has been created for them. They open fire and it's unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened. I said it the other day. It was an unnecessary death. Um, Yet at the same time, if I saw a video of my son acting the way that I saw Alex Preddy acting, I would be completely embarrassed. But that would not change the fact that I would be inconsolably devastated by his death. So his behavior was embarrassing to his family, and his death is tragic and devastating to his family. And we just have to be aware of that and have some sort of humanity, Christian decency about the death of this man. Um, Everybody knew when Chris Cuomo came out and said he's the best of us. That is a fucking it was total bullshit. The best of us does not get involved in situations like that. Um, Obstructing federal law enforcement, whether we agreed with their stated goal or not, you're not going to go just put yourself in the way of federal law enforcement. Um, you didn't see this type of stuff happen in Waco. Like you didn't have civilians running in and getting in the way of the ATF and the FBI in Waco because people know that when federal law enforcement is on an objective and they have their eyes set and targeted on that objective, that at best you'll go to prison and at worst you end up dead. And that's not good for you at all. It doesn't mean that everything they're doing is done properly. But again, consider the stated objective, consider everything that's been going on. The fact that there's only been two deaths in Minneapolis is a godsend and it's a blessing. And we should be thankful that this it's only two deaths because it could be a lot worse. If they could be a lot more heavy-handed than they are. But unfortunately, we expect perfection from our law enforcement officers. We expect them to carry out a job um, that we hire them to do. We expect them to carry it out and do so perfectly and without innocent casualties. No matter what you think about the people and what they're protesting for, or actually agitating for, whatever, however you want to say it. Um, we there's going to be a high expectation and a higher standard set on law enforcement, and that is because they are trained to protect and serve. They are not trained to go to war with the populace. Now, that being said, let's talk about these agitators. Because I don't find myself on either side, ICE nor the protest. I'm just kind of like, this is a fucking shit show. Like you didn't see this in New Orleans. You don't see this in Texas. You don't see this, in Florida. You don't see this anywhere else. Memphis, you didn't have this issue. Even in DC when the National Guard were out there, you didn't see this kind of activity. So what is actually going on in Minneapolis. And so I'm going to screen share here. I'm going to share sound, but I don't think we're going to be playing any videos. But okay, screen sharing. Okay, so this is Cam Higby's pinned post from where he infiltrated the Signal chat. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is if you're on X, you've probably seen this, but I've heard a lot of people in podcast world and news discuss the Signal chat, but they haven't really broken down. They just kind of say, well, the Signal gate thing and or Signal or whatever. And a lot of people don't know what Signal is, and let alone what's going on with the Cam Higby Signal uh, situation. So, uh, what am I doing? I'm trying to get rid of this. How do I get this to go away? Whatever. Okay. So let's just go to this post. I don't know how to make it bigger. I don't know. I'm not used to using X on my computer. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how to get this part to go away. Anyway, I don't guess it matters. All right. So Cam Higby has infiltrated a Signal chat group, organizational Signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. Each area of the city has a signal or several signals. Let's start with a screen recording of all members of the Southside group to start. Minneapolis signal infiltrated. I have been undercover inside the group for days. You'll notice emojis next to people's names. Here's a key for what those emojis mean. The highlighted positions are the most crucial. Most are self explanatory. Mobile patrols spend their entire shift searching for suspicious vehicles. When they find one, they send it to the group so that plate checkers can compare with their database and see if it's a known federal vehicle or if the patrol can make the confirmation so that the database can be updated. Dispatch runs a maxed out call all day telling protesters where ICE has been spotted and how they can be impeded. For each occupation or shift position, protesters have to undergo training. It's unclear what the training entails, other than numerous slides of instructions. I've seen it mentioned repeatedly who is paying for all of this. We will get into that here in a minute. Each chat for a specific part of each city has smaller districts broken up within it called patrol zones, which guide ICE chasers on where they should be positioned. And as you see, these are color coded, and it's zone. Well, I guess I could zoom in here. Yeah. Zone 3B, 3A, 4A, 4B, etc., etc., etc. Oh, I guess I could just read it like this. Here is a screen recording of their plate database as well as a link to its instructions. So it says Minnesota ICE plates data documentation. There is an ongoing effort to establish easier ways to view and interact with the data set. Please refer to this doc for the most up-to-date links and information. Okay, here we go. Let's make this bigger. Access the data, ICE plate search, Minnesota ICE plates, plate list, plate dashboard, plate lookup, blah, blah, blah. Submit ICE plates, resources, FAQs. So they just so basically what we're looking at is the citizens of Minnesota have set up a parallel law enforcement organization, or what one might call militia. Here's a screenshot of the active dispatch call. It's always active as well as a shift change. You can see folks are changing their emojis clocking in and out. I'll also attach below a video of dispatch actually tracking the vehicle I was in, claiming that we were confirmed ICE. They constantly misidentify vehicles. Pay attention to emojis tagged on plate checks. So there's the chat.
White Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving. We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
Thank you. Do you have anyone in the car with you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
And we are getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
Isn't this crazy?
This is John 612. That we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
Thank you, John 612.
Hey, this is Lokito. I'm getting some messages from the WhatsApp group that they're driving around on 28, 29th Pleasant and Pillsbury Avenue. If you want to swing by there first, I'm making my way down that way as well. I am on Lake and Park.
I'll relay to the Spanish chat, or sorry, relay to the Uptown Whittier.
Tired.
Thanks, Aaron.
That Ford just gray Ford just passed.
On the car.
That's us.
Exactly. That's it.
Please go on mute. John 612, please go on mute.
It's going to be a right, the next right.
Lokito, go ahead.
The next right, Chicago.
Yeah, that gray F-150 just drove past me on the opposite way towards Cedar. That was on Lake and Park.
That's us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You could say we've got two commuters behind that F-150.
That's us. That's confirmed.
Do we have anyone in this call who's at 28th, 29th Pleasant right now? Lokito, you're not there, correct?
Don't wave at them.
Yeah, do not wait.
Correct, I am on 3rd and Lake. I would be there in probably like 2 or 3 minutes.
This is Liv. I'm at Cedar and Lake going west. Do you want me to keep an eye out?
I'm going to take the
I'm
next left.
concerned about the reports from
Next
the Spanish WhatsApp about 28th to 29th and Pleasant. Ern's relaying to Uptown, but Lokito, if you could head there, if you're up for heading there and you're only a minute or two out, that'd be
28th to
great.
29th Pleasant.
Hey, this is Fubar. We're also about a minute out.
These 5 observers are on there. KM, I'll probably have you stay on that F-150. But anyone else that's on this call that is currently on that F-150, I think we could use our resources and energy better somewhere else.
I agree. If there's somewhere you want to send us, that's great. Otherwise, we could go up into Phillips.
If you want to go up into Phillips, that's great. I'm going to attempt a roll call here in a minute. Got it. Sprout, do you have a passenger?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, KM, you disengage.
Is that 3 cars following me? It's fucking crazy. All right. So there's that, which says, here is a recording of protesters actively tailing the vehicle I was in, labeling me as ICE, and instructing commuters, ICE chasers, to follow me.
White Chevy Silverado with the white Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going
Okay,
north
we already
on
heard this.
We're not ICE. Why are you guys following us? And they leave like right when we get out of the car. We're not ICE. We're not ICE. We're following them because they were following us.
No? You look suspicious as fuck.
Wait. So should people follow and harass any suspicious-looking person?
Harassing you. Get out of here.
Why are you guys following us?
Because you're fucking ICE.
We're not ICE.
Oh, and they... Not ICE. Not in an ICE vehicle, right?
No.
Right, get in your truck and get the fuck out.
Why?
Because you need to go. Confirmed ICE.
We're not ICE.
Yeah, same to the people that you're abducting. Get out.
We're not
Let's go.
because we're being followed. They're following us, and they came up. We didn't even know they were following us until they came up and said, "We've been following you, reporter, independent
Go
journalist."
report something.
Okay.
Go to the airport.
We don't want people following us.
Go to the airport.
And hurting us when we get home.
They're not going to hurt
They
you.
think
They're going
we're
to stay
ICE.
right behind you. They're going to
Yeah,
stay right
all the
behind
way
you.
back to where we're staying, right?
Great.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. It's why we're Americans. Why are we being forced out of a neighborhood? We're reporters.
We have Americans being detained.
We're not
assaulted
detaining
by
anybody.
People who are claiming to be federal agents.
We're
right?
not claiming that.
So you can tell we're a little bit on edge.
That's fine, but it doesn't give you the right
Yeah.
to run people out of town.
Yeah. So why are you here though? I mean,
We're
Are you
reporters.
going to join the protest against ICE?
We are reporters.
You're reporters with who?
I'm an independent journalist. I sell my
Independent
footage.
journalist? What's your handle?
What's my handle?
Yeah.
I sell my footage.
Really? Yeah, you're
Yes.
pretty established.
I sell my
Where are your
footage.
press credentials?
I have them in my pocket. I showed them
Do you have
repeatedly.
press credentials?
Yes, they're in my pocket. 1 second.
So, as you see, they are also just randomly harassing people and telling them they don't belong there, which is fine. If they want to be Mogadishu, like I said before, we can just build a wall around sanctuary cities and leave them as open air prisons if that's what they want. But it's very strange to be harassing people. And as the people tell you, I'm not ICE, leave me alone. I'm just kind of cruising around, taking a look at the area. He might have been looking for a house. There's no telling who this guy is. They don't know who he is. And because they don't know who he is, they just assume he's ICE. A new group chat for each zone is made each day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day. This is likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. By midday, by midday, I think is what he meant to say. The group chats hit maximum capacity, 1,000 people allowed by signal, and people who are not chasing federal agents are asked to leave to create room for those who are. The dispatch calls also reach maximum capacity constantly. I believe it's 50 people maximum, which means at any given time in each small zone, there are 50 people chasing agents. The quasi-police force uses a system called Salute, which calls out the size of federal units, activity, locations, uniforms, times, and locations. They then instruct their ICE chasers to follow and confront agents at the known locations. Salute stands for size/strength, actions, activity, location, uniform, clothes, time and date, and equipment. They are everywhere, and local police are cooperating. Here, an observer calls out a possible agent, but says she's just out walking her dog, so can't continue on. Dispatch called for backup. Also below is a message indicating that local PD may get involved if ICE hinders public safety. So there's the lady saying, I'm walking my dog. Are you able to see the drivers? Not clearly, on foot walking the dog, so I had to leave the scene. Not clearly, on foot walking the dog, so I had to leave the scene. But confirmed 2 in front seats. Then here we go for the person at Spooner Park. If ICE is on park property, get pics and I can help. From Roseville RR, the police called back and said ICE has jurisdiction and to call back if they hindered public safety. These thugs apparently have a home base, though I haven't been able to identify it. Here's an ICE chaser indicating that he is expected there. Heading east on foot, home base is expecting me, should be off call in 15 minutes. Here are chasers discussing what should be done after realizing they positively identified my vehicle as ICE, but they then found out it was me. I believe this person might be the aggressive individual in the second photo. Had an issue today with the plate, confirmed ICE. While they have been at Whipple, according to the records, that vehicle is either owned or rented by Cam Higby. We unfortunately made a spectacle trying to chase them off from a protest. We helped make a propaganda video. Anyway, we can come up with a way to tag not ICE, but fuck them all the same. Do not want to make that mistake again. Okay. Here is more dispatch chatter where they tweak out when they discover a vehicle. Whistles and horns can be heard in the background. The dispatcher asks for photos and videos of the plate for documentation purposes.
Documentation, video, or photos of that plate on that. The person that just asked for a plate check a minute ago that said 218 AF.
Yeah, it's a white Chevy pickup truck.
Thank you. If you can get documentation, video, or photos of that plate on that car, we can document. Thank you.
All right, yep, getting that for you.
Update on the corner of 32nd and
sticker.
Update on the corner of 32nd and 15th. This Kia, Massachusetts. Folks are whistling at this. It looks like this is a confirmed ICE vehicle. The men inside appear to be ICE, according to the people who are up there. The window, they have gators.
The person that just asked for a plate check a minute ago that said 218 AF.
Okay. Protesters use a mutual aid system. I tried to join the mutual aid that for Bloomington. An admin told me that it was a vetted chat for teachers and that I need to describe my relationship to a school and give my real name. I couldn't do that, so I never made it in. Why are there teachers aiding in this effort? Hi and welcome. Mutual aid is a vetted group, which means it requires a real name and either a phone or email for every person joining to keep our neighbors and community members safe. If you are a parent or teacher, please also describe your relationship to the Bloomington schools to join the schools list. Please send me the above contact info to be added to the mutual aid group. ICE chaser operations go all night. The dispatch call is 24/7. These are messages screenshotted at 2 a.m. asking for observers at a location with potential illegals. It's from a vetted chat called Wolfpack. Help, Lake and Third. Help, Lake and Third. Lake and Third. What's happening? Someone in Whittier just posted, said ICE waiting on more details. Does anyone know this profile person? The chat is vetted. It's from the Whittier Wolfpack chat. I don't know if we relayed to them at all. The coordinators frequently delete messages to cover their tracks. This is another layer of security on top of the daily chat refreshes. Here is an admin list for several chats. These generally consist of code names, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that's it. That's the whole thread, his whole pinned thread. And so he had asked earlier, who is paying for this? So I've been jacking around with some well-known foundations, specifically Hewlett Foundation, Tides Foundation, Open Society Foundation. So if you don't know, Open Society Foundation has been involved internationally for years. It's commonly gets conflated with George Soros because George Soros started the Open Society Foundation, but they get money from lots of different places, including USAID, which means that the federal government gives them money. So they were involved in Georgia in 2024, Myanmar in 2017, Hong Kong 2019, Brazil 2023. It's just some little details about Open Society Foundation. So here's Russia banned the Open Society Foundation in 2015 after it came out that they were involved with Maidan in 2014, and they are funding many of the ICE protesters. So we can go here. This is Open Society. That's Tides. Okay, so they've Sunrise Movement, Movement for Black Lives, over $80 million. Advocacy organizations in 2021, they gave $140 million. Where was that? I saw. So they also fund Chirla, and there's I think Independence for Twin Cities or something like that, which is an organization in Minneapolis, St. Paul area that is funded by Open Society. ACLU is funded by Open Society. I don't know if Mirac, I don't think Mirac is. I found a bunch of them the other day. Give me a second. I'll pull up a photo on my phone and I'll read to you what I had found the other day. Let's see. United We Dream, National Immigration Law Center, Immigration Justice Corps, National Immigration Law Center, Asian American Advancing Justice, Center for American Progress, Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, CHIRLA. The People's Forum is another one, which is an interesting one. This one is the one that everybody keeps talking about, that it's Neville Roy Singham. So People's Forum was started by Neville Roy Singham, that mainly operates in New York City. They do a lot of programs in New York City, but something caught my eye the other day. So they have this 1804 Books, which is an affiliate site. So I'm not sure where the People's Forum is giving in Minneapolis. I have found different organizations in New York City that they give money to, but not in Minneapolis. But if you go to their books and shop all, they have this interesting book here. Let me see if I can find it. These are all socialist books, activist books, books about communism and socialism, activism, abolishing rent, abolishing the state, abolish geography. You abolish geography. It's like, okay. Agitate, which is another organized book. Albert Einstein book. There was a book I had seen the other day, though, and it caught my attention, and I didn't look closely at it. Almanac of the Dead, a novel. I don't want to subscribe. American Uprising, the Slave Revolt, American Exceptionalism and American Innocence, A People's History of Fake News from the Revolutionary War to the War on Terror. Angela Davis, and Enemies Such as This. Marxism and National Liberation. Becoming Abolitionists. Becoming Ghosts. I'm going to have to send this to Scott and tell him that the Libertarian Institute needs to get to work. Man, we need more books. I know he's working on it. Black Marxism. Blah, 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 blah. Bolsheviks in El Podor. Brokers of Deceit, How the U.S. Has Undermined Peace in the Middle East. Building the Commune, Bury the Collapse, the Corpse of Colonialism, the Revolutionary Feminist Conference of 1949. Karl Marx, Dos Capital, Capitalism, Coronavirus and War, Capitalism and Slavery, CARE. Oh, speaking of which, CARE, Center of American Islamic Reform or whatever, they're also getting funded by Open Society. So as you can see, though, the Open Society was funding not only foreign revolutionary movements, but they're also funding revolutionary movements here in the US. Here it is. China's Revolution and the Quest for a Socialist Future. It's just struck me as interesting sounding, and it's written by Ken Hammond. Between the end of the Opium War in 1842 and the establishment of the People's Republic in 1949, China, long the most prosperous and sophisticated country in the world, was subjected to the military, economic, and political domination of Western imperialism. The old dynastic system was overthrown in 1911, and in 1921 the Communist Party was formed, which led the revolutionary struggle over the next 3 decades. Since the founding of the PRC, China has pursued its distinctive path of socialist construction, a challenging and often contentious process which is still unfolding today. This volume traces the crisis of old China and the course of the revolutionary struggle up to 1949 and follows the development of new China through the era of Mao Zedong leadership, the launching of reform under Deng Xiaoping, and the beginning of a new era under the leadership of Xi Jinping. China's use of market mechanisms to develop the productive economy has generated contradictions as well as dramatic growth, and China has achieved great things in education, healthcare, and the provision of other social services. But the process of socialist construction remains an unfinished and ongoing venture, and the future of the revolution is very much a work in progress. All right. So as you see, there's a lot of like socialists and Marxists and NGOs involved in all this nonsense. And we are just supposed to accept that and act like, oh no, this is just normal stuff. Well, obviously, what they do is they go out, they propagandize and create vitriol in the public to mobilize some grassroots activists, and they get them involved. But there is funding going to organizing these protests coming from NGOs that are run by Neville Singham out of China. He lives in I think he lives not in Laos. Where's he? I can't remember exactly where he lives now. I think he's in Beijing, but he lives in China. He has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, and he is a billionaire that has been funding the People's Forum and many protest movements in the United States for years. You have the Open Society Foundation, which has operated in color revolutions around the world, got thrown out of Russia for its for the $1 billion that it was funneling into activist organizations prior to the 2011 snow revolution in Russia. And then once it was discovered that it was active in the Maidan revolution and the orange revolutions in Ukraine, Russia kicked it out of the country for good in 2015. So when you look at all this that's going on, you don't have to like ICE. You don't have to be a fan of ICE, but recognize that the same people that were constructing these color revolutions around the globe are the ones funding these agitators around the U.S., whether in Chicago, L.A., New York City, or Minneapolis. Sorry. Also, I found another foundation I've been looking into. I haven't had a whole lot of time to do a lot of research on it, called the Cummings Foundation, that's working with MIRAC on a coalition summit coming up in, I think, in March or May of this year. And I found that really interesting. So I'll be diving a little bit further into the Cummings Foundation and be looking to see if I can find some information about them. But I just wanted to kind of chat about that for a little bit and let tell you, like, be careful, man. Be careful getting who you putting your weight behind in this situation. And it's why I'm very cautious about defending the protesters. You're not going to like catch me really defending ICE, but I'm certainly not defending the protesters. But at the same time, I can be human enough to say, you know what, I don't want to see anybody lose their life unnecessarily, and I don't want to see somebody ruin their career or their family life unnecessarily over all this nonsense that is obviously being funded from NGOs that are looking to maintain the World Economic Forum and NATO dominance in Europe. So just be real careful. I mean, the George Soroses, the Neville Singhams, the Klaus Schwabs, the Hans-Jörg Wyses, they're always working behind the scenes. So if you ever see Tides Foundation, Open Society, Arabella, the People's Forum, these names should trigger something in you to go, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's the real story here? And understand that they don't have your best interests at heart either. And the people that they are funding are typically either ideological communists or useful idiots for communists. So anyway, y'all have a good week. I'm going to go get ready to watch the fights, and I will talk to y'all later. I'll stop the damn thing.